Okay. Samaya Mataji, can you do this for Bridget? Mataji, can you do the summary of the slide, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, Prabhu, you can do, please.
Why don't you do it? Okay, Hare Krishna. So let's get through it. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tadham Bande Shri Gurum Dintaranam Paramananda Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram नमो विष्णु उपादाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय सिमल भक्तविंद की जय नित्य गौर प्रेमनंदी हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा so I'm just going to quickly run through few slides that we have been talking from last two sessions, and as I said, this is going to be an introductory sessions. Next maybe one more session, and then after that we can start reading Nectar of Devotion. So we are right now just introducing some term. So Veda, the Sanskrit meaning of the word Veda is knowledge, right? So Veda means knowledge, source of knowledge. And the knowledge that is presented in Veda or in Vedic scripture is coming from Lord himself. So whenever I say Lord, means Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So it's called Aparusha, means something which is not created by Purusha, men or women. Right? Nowadays you will see that there are so many authors who are writing books, but Apurusha means one that is not created by men, living being, whether it's men or women or mortal being. So that's Apurusha. Veda is Apurusha. And Veda in traditional way is learned by hearing process. So spiritual master, guru teaches that knowledge to the disciple. At the course of time, disciple becomes a spiritual master, and then he teaches his disciple like that. And the knowledge that is presented in Veda is considered axiomatic truth. Axiomatic truth means it is accepted as it is, or at least we should have faith to accept as it is. And this knowledge comes through parampara, Sanskrit word parampara. The English of that is disciplic succession, which means from a spiritual master to disciple, and then from that disciple to another disciples, their disciples. Originally there was one Veda, but to make it more easier, Vyasdev wrote four. So out of one Veda, he divided in the four Veda and expanded on it. Expanded on it to make it more sublime and easier. Right? So whatever subject is being taught, for example, Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Ajur Veda, Atharva Veda. So Rig Veda talks about laws of universe. So that subject is one Veda. Sam Veda talks about devotion to the Supreme Lord. Then that is put into one category as Sam Veda. Yajur Veda talks about Yagya process, how to do big Yagya, Ashmed Yagya, other Yagya that happens. So that process is presented in Ajur Veda. And Atharva Veda talks about music and other signs of fight, like battlefield, the yantra that we see, Brahmastra, the arrow, and you will see that they will target, throw one arrow and then it becomes five arrows and all of that we have seen in some of the serials. Those signs of defense and medicine is presented in in Atharva Veda. And then there are fifth Veda, which is talking about all the historical story such as Mahabharata, Ramayana, that is called as Pancham Veda. Goal of Vedic study or goal of this knowledge, right? What is the goal of this knowledge? Goal of this knowledge is to ultimately know who is the Supreme Person, who is the Father of all the living being, who is the Master of the entire universe, who should be worshipped. All of that is the goal of Vedic study. The last class we talked that this Vedic knowledge or the knowledge that is in the society today or any system of knowledge or format of knowledge can be obtained by two processes: Aroha, ascending process, or Avaroha, descending process. So Aroha process or ascending process is called inductive process, where one is learning the truth by logical argumentation. One is coming to the truth by logic and analysis. And most of the scientific knowledge that is presented today is the example where you come to the fact by analyzing the truth in different segmentation. If this is true, then that is true, then that is true, then that is true, then afterward that is true, and all of these truths are put together, then this is true, right? So small pieces that you can digest and understand, you are putting together to understand the bigger truth. But in Aroha or descending process, a spiritual master is teaching to the disciple. So disciple may not know about Golok Brindavan. Disciple would have no idea what's there in the Golok Brindavan. What's the process of bhakti? What's the advantage and disadvantages of doing the bhakti? But the spiritual master knows. So a spiritual master will explain you, will tell you, and then with due submissiveness and faith, with due submission and faith, you would receive that knowledge. So in Aroha process, even if we are not very competent, still we are learning the knowledge which is beyond our competency. Like we might not be at this stage fully able to understand the importance of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Nam Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasya Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinatva Nam Namino. So it says that the name of Krishna is none different than Krishna himself. And it's Purna Shuddho. There is no contamination to it. So are we seeing name of Krishna as Krishna? No, most likely not. So this is the knowledge coming from our spiritual master, coming from the Shastra that says that name of Krishna is Krishna himself. And we take as it is and we are trying to understand it. So last class I gave many examples of what is Aroha and what is Avroha, their pros and cons. And then we talked about that there are three ways one can perceive knowledge. How the knowledge is perceived. All of us are perceiving knowledge. Right now, if somebody will ask, is it day or night? Right away, everybody will say it's day. Why? Because there is sunshine outside, there is brightness, there is all the evidence that tells it's day, right? So that is pratyaksh pramana, something that is very directly evident to us. And looking at that, we can say what it is, where it is. Very directly it's perceived. So that's pratyaksh praman. And then second is anuman praman. Some hypothesis is being made. Like for example, in the night you were sleeping. You could not get up to see that it was raining. It rained in night. In the morning when you got up, you came out and you saw there is water around, there is, you know, some symptom of rain. Looking at it, you would say, oh, sounds like there was rain that happened last night. You didn't see, you didn't directly perceive it, but you have enough evidence to conclude that there was rain that happened. And third ways of receiving the knowledge is shabda. Shabda means word, by hearing. You know, how we know about certain place? By hearing. For example, people who live in India, they have not been to America, or the person who has not been to America, but somebody who has been to America will tell, America is like this, America is like that, right? Hearing. And then that person will just have some, imagination. Oh, okay, so it's like this, it's like this, it's like that. And then they would understand how the America is. Or somebody from America, from US, who has not been to India, the person who has been to India, they can say India is like this. India is very crowded. India, it's very hot right now. Temperature would go as high as 122 Fahrenheit. Then one can imagine, okay, so India is like that, right? So Sabd Praman, knowledge is received by hearing process. Hearing, in this case particularly, from a bona fide devotee in the form of Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, or Path Pradarshaka Guru. Guru or Shastra. Shastra will also, we hear from Shastra. So these are the different way we receive the knowledge. Please remember that. Pratyaksh Praman, Anuman Praman, and Sabd Praman. And I also spoke out of these three Praman, one Praman is the most reliable Praman. Which one is that? Which Praman is that? Can somebody share which
Shab-
Praman?
Shabda Praman.
Shabd Praman is the most reliable Praman because sometimes uh, direct Praman also would have some defect. such as if one has problem with their eyesight, then that person cannot understand how bright is outside. Some person who has hearing problem cannot understand how loud is the music, right? So depending on the defect on our senses, senses of smelling, senses of seeing, senses of hearing, senses of tasting, tongue, you can perceive something which might not be the truth. So direct perception definitely is not always reliable. There might be some imperfection to it. Anuman Praman is also not perfect source of receiving the knowledge because it is based on logic and assumptions. Oh, I got in the morning, I'm seeing water, so it might be rain. But when you go out of your backyard, look at somebody else's backyard, oh, that backyard is dry. Your assumption is wrong. Maybe somebody poured water. Something happened in your backyard. Maybe your tap had leakage. So these are the things, So your hypothesis or assumptions might be wrong. But Sabd Praman is the most reliable, especially when it's coming from a bona fide person, a person who is knower of the knowledge. That person is telling you the truth that is way beyond one's intelligence, way beyond what we can understand. So that is Shabda Pramana. Now we talked about how the system of acquiring the knowledge works. To know something beyond the experience of our senses and beyond the experimental research, one must accept the Veda. So this is the assumption. That's why I said that this is a very important discussion we have to have before we get into Bhakti Samrita Sindhu. Why? Because the teaching that is presented by Rupa Goswami, we have to understand that as a truth. If you ask me, Prabhu, I don't trust it. I can definitely try to give you some examples, but there might be the case where I would not be able to give you the examples. I would not be able to convince you. Because if you keep on asking why this, why this, why this, what's your name? This. Why your name is this? Oh, my name is this because of this. Why this is this? So keep on asking, right? There is no end to it. Right? So you have to accept the Vedic knowledge as truth, the Veda. And then you have to have faith in the spiritual master, guru. They say that if you start doubting your guru, then no knowledge is ever going to be revealed to you. Because at first place, you have to theoretically understand the knowledge, take as it is. If you don't take as it is, how it's going to be revealed to you? How you are going to be a realized person? Bhakti promises so many things. You will hear in Nectar of Devotion, right? Bhakti has 6 qualities that it manifests. Or when those 6 qualities are manifesting in the devotee, then one can say that the devotee is really advancing in the process of bhakti. Okay. But in the beginning, you have no faith. You say that, oh, I don't believe in it. I'm not sure if it's going to manifest in it. And you, with that doubt, never engage in the process of bhakti. If you don't engage, if you don't start doing the devotional service, then how the quality is going to be revealed to you? How it's going to be manifested to you? It's never going to manifest to you, right? So it's very important then that we approach a bona fide guru and we hear from that guru in full submission. And what is the meaning of submission? Accept, as a spiritual master is saying. So, knowledge comes from these three sources. And this one you will have to remember. Okay, this one you'll have to remember. It's very important. We are receiving the knowledges, or all the knowledge that we talk about is coming from one of these sources. This might be something first time you are seeing, if you haven't seen it before. It's called Prasthan Traya. Traya means three. Prasthan means establishment. Three establishment. Three well accepted method of receiving the knowledge about Supreme Lord. The first one is Shruti Prasthan, which means knowledge that is coming from Veda by the process of hearing. So Vedic knowledge is aparusha. We just saw that. It's not written by someone. It's coming through bona fide spiritual master by hearing from them. So one source of knowledge is Shruti Prasthan, which is all the Vedas and Upanishad. So Vedic knowledge and knowledge that's presented in Upanishad falls under Shruti Prasthan. It's directly spoken by Supreme Lord. Okay, these instructions are coming from Supreme Lord. Lord spoke to Lord Brahma. Brahma spoke to Narad Muni. Narad Muni spoke to Vyasdev. Vyasdev spoke to his disciples like that. But original source of the knowledge, and please make a note, or you can take the snap of this screen. You need to remember that. The original source of knowledge is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is Shruti Prasthan. But the same knowledge is compiled, translated, presented in a different format, in the format of a story, in the format of a song, in a format of essays, in different format to make it easy for common people to understand. Then that is Smriti Prasthan, which is a scripture that is written based on the teaching which are presented in Shruti. So we receive knowledge from novels also. There are many people writing novels, or we can receive knowledge from other books. But if that knowledge is not presented in Veda, if that knowledge is hypothetical knowledge, somebody's assumptions, somebody's mental speculation, then that would not be a Smriti Prasthan. So Shruti Prasthan is Veda. A Smriti Prasthan is the same knowledge which is based on Vedic teaching to make easier and sublime for the mankind, such as Puranas. All the Puranas, 18 Puranas are there. All are compiled by Vyasdev. Mahabharata stories, Ramayana stories, Gita, Bhagavad Gita as it is, comes under Smriti Prasthan. Okay, so Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan, and third one is Nyaya Prasthan. That type of knowledge which presents logic, logical understanding, and Vedanta Sutra is example of Nyaya Prasthan. So there are three types of sources of knowledge that we rely upon, or the knowledge that we are receiving from these three sources. Bhagavatam that we study has so many stories and other forms to make us understand the story. Is example of Asmriti Prasthan. Bhagavad Gita as it is, Gita Upanishad is Asmriti Prasthan. Vedic knowledge, Vedic such as Upanishads, Ishopanishads, and other Upanishads, 108 principal Upanishads. Those are Shruti Prasthan. And then Nyaya Prasthan is basically Vedanta Sutra and other logical presentation or presentation that is teaching some axioms, some truth, some logic, and then you have to unfold it to understand it better. Atato Brahm Jigyasa, what does it mean? Janmadhyashyatah, what does it mean? Tamso ma Jyotirgamya, what does it mean? It's just aphorism, some facts in a very consolidated format. And then you have to open it. You have to explain it to understand it better. So these are the three sources of knowledge. Please remember that. Shruti Prasthan, Asmriti Prasthan, Nyaya Prasthan. Three ways we receive the knowledge: direct perception, Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana, hypothetical, and Shabd Pramana by hearing. Two systems of receiving the knowledge, which is Aroha Pantha and Aroha Pantha. So two here, three there, and three here. I would like to make sure that these are understood. And then I'm getting into some very, very interesting discussion here that definitely would be eye opener. I can tell you. It's very, very important that before I start talking and start sharing you the subject of bhakti, we need to understand this. Okay. All of these slides that we have gone through are very foundational slides. These are giving us understanding what we are reading, how we are reading, and what is the source of our knowledge that we are gaining, and what is the goal of that knowledge. All of this is oriented for us to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Grahayam Indriha. I know this name, form, quality, and pastime of Supreme Personality of Godhead one cannot understand by senses. Saranadi, but once we start hearing, chanting name of Krishna, in the due course of time, it starts revealing and we start understanding. So, source of this knowledge are for us to understand who the Supreme Lord is. So, I'm getting into a very important topic. Before I get into it, anybody has any questions, any realizations, any comments, any concern? It might be a little heavier, or you might be hearing it first time, but please for now, try to memorize that way. Try to understand that way. Remember that way. If somebody will ask you, you should be ready to share that way. For now, as we keep on, getting more knowledge on these subjects, slowly and slowly these things will be more clear to us. But for now, we have to just make sure that We are counting this, Newton's three laws. First, second, and third law. First law says this. Second law says this. Third law says. Then you start understanding, what is the application of first law, second law, third law, like that, like that. So applications will keep on coming. But right now, our intent is that you understand it and remember this as it is. Applications slowly and slowly will build up as we get deeper into understanding of these subjects. Okay, so anybody has anything, any realization? Bridget Mataji, are you following? Do you have any? Are you okay? Are you understanding some of these things that we are talking or no? Even if you are not, don't worry. It will come, but I just wanted to hear what do you think about it. This is your first class, right? Anybody else has any realization, anything? Sumya Mataji, are you good?
Yes, Prabhuji, it was like a very good summary from last class. Thank you.
Awesome. So, this is very important thing. There are schools of theology. There are schools of theology. An entire theology that is presented in the society today can be put into two categories. The first one is called atheistic view, and second category is called theistic views. Atheistic and theistic. In Sanskrit, atheistic is called Nastika and theistic is called Astika. So there is Nastika view and then there is Astika view. Okay. So we'll try to understand what type of views are atheistic views and what are theistic views. Why we have to understand that? If you read Prabhupada's purport, Prabhupada in many purport will say that this type of understanding is atheistic understanding, or this type of view is atheistic view. He will say, atheist will say like that, but we as atheists don't say like that. Or even being the theist, a follower of Vaisesika will say like that. Follower of Mimamsa will say like that. Sankhya will say like that. But we are the Vedanta, we say like that. So this slide might be too much of information for you, too much to digest just in one slide, because again, these are branches. Big, these knowledge are existing in the society. All the branches of the knowledge is existing in the society, and they are fully grown up and very matured. And many times these things are contradicting and conflicting to each other. It creates confusion in the follower, and this is a subject of debate. Big debates in the society that's happening today is happening on one of this topic and one of this subject. Jesus Christ is this, Allah is this, Shiva is that, Durga is that, Ganesh is that. All of this, who is bigger, who is where, all of different, way of understanding and different perspective. One religion will say we came into existence because whatever existed before had a fault. We came out of this because of that. Just if you look into the Christian, there are so many branches of it. Right, Bridget Mataji? So many branches of it. Some say that Jesus Christ came out of his mother womb. Some say that no, he just appeared. You know, like different things. Some say Jesus Christ is ultimate God. Some believe that no, Jesus Christ is saying that I have a father, so he has a father, right? So all of these conflicts are there. It's not like that atheistic and theistic view are very isolated. It's not like that that atheistic view is not overlapping or riding over the theistic view. It's not like that. Even in theistic view, there are some entrance, some degree of impact or effect coming from the atheistic understanding. So it's very important for us to at least know some of these terms. So on the atheistic view, one of the view. Okay, sorry, I was talking to my wife. So atheistic views and theistic views. I gave you some background. That don't think that these things are not important for to understand. Even our devotee, I'm telling you, they get confused. They mix up these two things on the name of bhakti. Very important to understand these things. So on the atheistic view, we'll just see some names. Charvak Darshan. Darshan is philosophy. Like darshan is the Sanskrit word, which means philosophy. So Charvak, Maharshi Charvak. People will say Maharishi, Maharishi iti Maharshi, the great saint Charvak. And his philosophy was hedonistic philosophy. Okay, hedonistic philosophy. And this philosophy is mostly followed by meat eaters, people who believe in meat eating, people who believe in the business of slaughtering the cows and other animals, pigs and all of that. They have a philosophy that that doesn't matter how brilliantly and how intelligently they try to justify their doing, the action that they are doing, but it's nothing but atheistic philosophy. And what this philosophy does is that it's fully based on the aim of enjoying the life. Enjoyment of the life is number one aim. I have to enjoy. So this philosophy teaches one to enjoy life, enjoy senses. And what is the understanding? Yavad jivet sukham jivet. Rinam kritva घृतं पिबेत भास्मी भूतस्य देहस्य पुनरागमनम कुतः See here, see the philosophy. Sanskrit, nicely, written in the Sanskrit. Okay. What it says that Yavad Jivet Sukham Jivet. However many years we live happily. There are people who will say, this is the only one life. This is the only one life we have taken. And in this life, if you believe in XYZ, then over. You go to heaven. There's no more life. So what do you have to do? Enjoy. Yavat jivet sukham jivet. As long as we are living, we'll live happily. We have to live happily. No compromise. Live happily. Why and how? Rinam kritva ghritam pibet. Ghritam here is, refined butter or ghee. You know ghee, Bridget Mataji? Have you heard the word ghee? Let me unmute her.
Good. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, you
Yes.
are. Right, so you know ghee, right? They say
Yes.
that Rinam kritva ghritam pibe. The Rinam means date. So the purpose of life is to enjoy. I'll enjoy, okay? And even if I have to take date, I'll take the date, but I'll drink ghee. I will live in a very opulent way. I'm not going to compromise with the ways of living. Why? Bhashmi bhutasya dehasya. Very nice. Once this body is annihilated, gone, death comes, the body is gone. Bhashmi bhutasya dehasya punaragmanam kutaha. Who has seen that we have to even come back? Who has seen it? They say, what is the evidence that one has to even come back? There is no evidence. We don't believe in any evidence. It's just one life span. Live as happily as you can. Even if you don't have money, you take the date, but live a lavish life. Why?
Mm.
Because come on, this life is your last life. Once this life is gone, who has seen? Is there any next life? So why to compromise? Why to suffer? Right? That's called Charvak Darshan. That's the summary, essence of Charvak Darshan. Again, there might be so much polished stuff there, this thing, that thing, but ultimately it teaches the concept of living a lavish life, living a life that is full of enjoyment on any cost. Now, my question to you is, have we seen any example of that type in the society or not? Any answer?
Yeah, a lot of people fall in this
Yes.
category, bro.
Yes, lot of people fall into. Is it something realistic or is just the concept? It's reality, right? Right?
No.
I can
Yes.
tell you, even the people who are believing in certain religion, they have this type of concept
Yes.
that, right? Bridget Mataji?
Yes.
Yeah, there are. People say that, oh, only this life is your life. You are blessed to have this life. So Don't compromise. And what they put on topmost priority is desire. What is your desire? Oh, my desire is to go to a beach 1,000 miles from here. Beautiful beach. That is my bucket list. And I just want to enjoy the nature. Okay, fulfill your desire. Go after it. What is your desire? My desire is to have a multi-billion-dollar, company. I should own it. Doesn't matter hook or crook. Do it. So these are real life, you know, issues. These challenges are not only theoretical challenge, but practically you can see that happening into the society. So that type of mindset, that type of approach, anybody has, it's a theistic approach. It's not theistic approach. People believing that kill someone and after death you will go to a heavenly planet and there you will have this, there you will have that. You know all of that gossip that people are talking about. Just kill on the name of religion and you will have this in the heavenly planet, that in the heavenly, and people are blindly killing.
Mm.
Blindly killing. What is that?
Yes.
Hedonistic philosophy. That's the philosophy. That's philosophy that's followed by Yavan and Malecha. We are trying to be best now. Bhakta, devotee of Vishnu, Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So we are trying to not have a lifestyle that is the life of Yavana and Malechas. So this is one example of atheistic knowledge. The second one is Buddhism, very famous, very famous Buddhism. And what their teaching is, it's called Shunyavad or Theravada. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pucharine Nirvishesha
Yeah.
Shunyavadi
Mm-hmm.
Pashat Desha Tarine.
Mm.
What is this Nirvishesha? Nirvishesha, there is no variety. You are Narayan, I am Narayan, everybody is Narayan. It's just the illusion that is stopping you to become four-armed form Narayan. All the variety that you are seeing, the trees that you are seeing, the frog that you are seeing, the cows that you are seeing, the dog that you are seeing, the cats that you are seeing, the male, the female that you are seeing, the baby and old that you are seeing, it's all Maya. It's all illusion. And at the course of time, when this illusion is dispelled, there is nothing. At the end of the day, it's all big zero, shunya, vacuum. They call
Yeah.
it nirvana. What is nirvana? Coming to that stage where you are not associating yourself with anything. Completely, you don't have to focus, you don't have to chant name of Krishna, you don't have to follow the limbs of bhakti, you don't have to do anything like that. All you have to do is that go to solicited place, secluded place, and try to meditate on Shunya. Bring yourself out from everything. You are not part of anything. Nothing belongs to you. And that is your real identity. Once you come to that stage, when you are free from all the pains and pleasures and happenings of this material worlds and emotions of everything that is existing around, if you are free from that, that's your ultimate stage. And you are aspiring to be that stage. This sorrow and happiness is nothing but expression of emotion. You feel sorry because you are attaching yourself with something. My loss. You are feeling not impacted by it because you are not associated. Logically, these things may be sensible, making some sense, but these are not ultimate reality. Right? This is not ultimate reality. This understanding may be sufficient enough to make one detach, make one live some degree of uh, peaceful life, but that's not the ultimate goal. That's why the Vedic teaching has to be adopted. That's why one has to stand up and see the reality. So the Shunyavad is just a big zero, right? Now Buddhist theology is very strongly followed. Okay, but what they do is that they reject Veda. They don't accept any teaching that is presented in Veda, source of knowledge, and who they are, atheistic. Now they may be walking in sannyasi dress, this dress, that dress, but since they have rejected Veda, they they don't tie themselves up with the Vedic teaching. They are atheistic. That is why Shankaracharya has to come, and he had to change the mindset, the belief of people from Shunyavad to Samvad, something which was later known as Sankhya in Mayavadi philosophy. That's a different thing. But Shankaracharya did a lot of contribution, tremendous contribution. Very thankful to Shankaracharya. So this Buddhism is also, according to Vedic theology or Vedantic theology, is nothing but atheism. Because anything that is not based on Veda is not accepted in the Vaisnava or in the atheistic school of theology. The last one I'll try to touch and then finish. Third one is Jain philosophy. Okay, and Jain philosophy is called Adrishtavad philosophy, which means something that we have not seen cannot be perceived as a truth. I don't know, there might be a lot of other details. I'm not expert of any one of this philosophy, but I just wanted to give you some core understanding. We have not seen Krishna, so how we can believe there is someone like Krishna, right? That's their basic understanding. If this is not, then that is not. 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 And ultimately, no Lord, no God. You know, go to their uh, temples, a nice temple, but no form, nothing, just temple. In India there are so many Jain temples. If you go to, maybe you'll see in some of the temples picture of their spiritual masters, some of the Digambars. but they don't have anything to worship or or pay obeisances to, or some, there might be some process, but the core understanding is anything that is not evident is non-existent. Anything that you can't see is not existing. Okay, so we talked about Charvak Darshan, Buddhism, and Jain philosophy. There are two more, and then after that we'll talk about theistic theology. So next class we'll just go through this one, and then this discussion will be done. Then we can start reading Bhakti
Jai
Rasamrita Sindhu. So what questions, what realizations, what you have that you would like to share before we adjourn today?
Probably why is Mayavad not in the atheistic
Because
category?
Mayavad is based on Vedic, it's they 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 accept Veda, but the way they explain Veda is not perfect. So Sankaracharya was not a theist person, he was a theistic person. He is Sadasiv, Lord
Mm.
Shiva himself, not an ordinary person. But he came with the mission to establish the Shastra and give some direction to the mankind. Brahmameti, Brahmameti, Bhagwanati Shabdate. Krishna, Prabhupada in his purport says that all of his theory are transcendental. Although one believe in Brahman, one believe in Paramatma, one believe in Bhagwan. All of these three have the chances to become Bhagwanwadi. So Sankaracharya taught the philosophy of what is called philosophy, that Advaita. There is no difference, no difference between the soul and super soul. But he did say that Veda is the right source of understanding who we are. If you want to know about yourself, you should go to Veda. Okay. Now he brought to the point where he put the faith in Veda, but he gave the partial, definition. Then later, other acharyas, such as Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya came, and you will see that slide. They expanded it. They give more, definition to it. So it's been said, I can just give you one particular example. It's been said that Shankaracharya bought the land, piece of land, okay, and then Madhva Ramanujacharya built the temple. Land is bought by Shankaracharya. Ramanujacharya built the temple. Madhvacharya, he came and installed the deity. Okay. And Mahaprabhu came and he showed how to do the deity worship, how to do worship. It is just, I have heard from one of the devotee in a very refined way. I remember that. So all of these personalities have some contribution. Okay. Buying the land is also very important, but it's not, everything. The land is bought, temple has to be built, the deity has to be installed, and a proper process of deity worship has to be followed. That's the complete process. Okay. So Sankaracharya came, bought the land, left. And Madhvacharya came. He said, Ramanujacharya, he said, no, this land has to have the building. So you'll see that he built the building, temple, Bhavya temple. And then Madhvacharya came and he said, build the deity, Vishnu, the deity of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. Ram, he established that deity Krishna, and Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came and he gave us the Bhagavad Bhakti. So we'll talk about it, some of these things later. The process of how to worship Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all of these personalities have some contribution towards the ultimate goal. So Sankaracharya is not from the atheistic theology, no. He's from theistic school,
Yes.
but Advaitavad. Advaitavad, Vishisht Advaitavad, then Dvaitavad, and then Achinta Veda Veda Tattva. These are the four, five prominent theology. Sankaracharya was Advaitavad, Ramanujacharya, Vishisht Advaita, Madhvacharya, Dvaita, and then Mahaprabhu, Achinta Veda Veda Tattva. Simultaneously oneness and difference. He concluded all the teaching given by other Acharya and gave essence of all of this teaching. So
Yes.
Sankaracharya has played profound role. We need to have the respect for him because he is the one who transplanted the faith of the mankind in Veda. It's huge, because when Lord Buddha came, he was Lord himself, right? Buddha incarnation is incarnation of Vishnu, right? Out of the Avatara Stuti, the 10th one is Buddha, before 9th one, I think. 10th one is Kalki. So Buddha, when he came, he was so powerful. He Lord himself. He kicked out because when he came, he saw that all the unqualified Brahmin on the name of Veda, they were killing innocent animals. Lot of animals were being killed. This agya, that agya, this thing, that thing, and animals were slaughtered. And he said, stop. I don't want to believe in. He said that I don't believe in Veda. Because Veda is causing this, Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? He is very compassionate father. He said that it has to be stopped. But then he sent his pure devotee, Shiva. He said that you go and slowly teach the mankind, put their faith in Veda. So slowly and slowly, nothing happens. Sarvakaran Karnam, my dear devotees. Ultimate cause of all the causes is Supreme Lord. Nothing. You should never see that anything happening without his awareness. Nothing happens without his awareness. Everything happens because that's the desire of Supreme Lord. Nor Krishna Prabhu, you are in the wrong batch. What happened? Did you forget that you had class at 11 o'clock?
Oh my God, I thought this is recording.
Huh?
Okay. I clicked in order to view it. So, but I'm sorry, I'll get out of here.
No.
Yeah.
That's okay. I just want to tell you that this is also being recorded. And 11 o'clock class was also recorded. But
Okay.
18th chapter is getting done almost. We finished today up to verse number 66. So next
Right.
week we'll finish. And then also there are few information here, few slides that I have to go with this verse, some introductory subject. And
Okay.
then after one class, we are merging together.
Okay. Okay.
Are you here or you are out of state somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm out of state right now, but I'll be
Okay.
back tomorrow.
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. So is that good enough for today?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Vanchkalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyayavasya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnavind ki jai. Hare Krishna. So please block your calendar. We'll meet next time, next Saturday, 1 p.m. Same time, same day. Thank you.